Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvadaha Suklam Baradharam Vishtum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Yasya Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Vignanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. With Swami's case, let us continue from where we left off in our last session. We came up to Agra Hyasa Padak Krishno Lohita Akshap Pratardanaha Prabhu Chastrika Kudhrama Pavitram Mangalam Param Ishana Pranada Prano. Right? Okay, Ishanaha. Bhagavan is the one who has got everything under his control. Pranadaha. If you really look at it, we are all moving about thinking, great things about ourselves, false things, the self-importance and all that, all the things we do in this body. But what happens, the body is really, when it becomes so-called lifeless, the life force, the thing that is activating all the embodiments, not only human bodies, but all the other embodiments. Could be a tree, could be a speck of dust, it doesn't matter. But the life force that is activating all the embodiments, that is Pranadaha. Pranadaha is the one who gives us of the life force. And we saw last class why it is taking place. We spoke about givers and takers. I hope you have reflected on that. Ishana pranata prano jeshta sreshta prajapatihi hiranyagarbho bhogarbho madhavo madhusudanaha. Pranaha. Pranaha, he is the one who is present, who is manifesting himself as his various embodiments that are moving about. Not only the pranadaha, but who is the giver of the life force. He is also the manifestation, the form of the life force itself. So, Jivatma Rupi, we call ourselves the Jivatma within us, Paramatma, all these distinctions that we make, and that only confuses us further, because the moment you start dividing the one, confusion only arises. So, whatever name we call it, Jivatma, Paramatma, all these things are one and the same. But he is the one who is manifesting as the life force itself. And Prana Ishana Prana Prano Jeshta Sreshta Jeshtaha. Now, Jeshtaha, we say, some of you would have heard the phrase Jeshta Putran and all that in your family. In our lineage, immediately we think that the very first son who was born in, right? So Jeshta means they're the very first. And he's also the origin, the beginning of everything. Not only the beginning, the middle, as well as the end, but because he is the beginning. Now, there is some people think Jeshta also means when we say the eldest, and there is a meaning of also being the oldest, right? The eldest meaning the oldest, in the sense that he has lived long. But that has got a time element to it. Bhagavan surpasses time. So he is really the very first one. Jeshtaha is the very first one. And you can call him the eldest if you want. You can call him the oldest if you want. He will respond and reflect on that. But Jeshtaha simply means the very first one. And Sreshtaha, Jeshtaha, Sreshtaha. Not only is a Jeshta, is the very first one, he is also the supreme most. He is the best of the best. Whatever skills, whatever area that you that you think of in our the manifested world in our life, you can see that this aspect that is the best in that is Sreshtaha. We're always, everything we do, if you really look at it, we're always improving. If we do it properly, any skill that we develop, we get better and better at it. But where is the best? What is the thing that is compelling you to become better, and the skill gets revealed more and more? Where is the perfection? That Sreshtaha, the best among the best, is Sreshtaha, is really supreme, is better than the best. You could call it that way. Prajapatihi. Now, Ishanaha, Visa, Prajapatihi. Ishanaha, one who's got everything under his control. Not a dot moves without Bhagavan's will, right? Now, at the same time, he's not a dictator. He's also Patihi. He's also a protector. He is the most beneficent protector. And Prajapati, for all the prajas, for all the beings that have taken birth, who is the one who is protecting them? Patihi. Pati means one who not only has your good wishes in his heart, but also is has the ability and the capability to protect you, to make sure only good things happen to us. That protecting aspect, and he's the one protecting all the prajas, all the beings that have taken birth. Prajapatihi. Hiranya Garbhaha, very important. This Hiranyam means golden. It has got a golden effulgence. Gold does not mean our metal gold, but it is the color of the gold. Please remember that. And that is, it's a golden color, we say, right? And even when you look at the sun, the sun's the light, even at the when the sun is at its highest, even during, let's say, around noontime or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, even though it appears white, there is a golden hue to it. The whole world, the whole universe, okay, is encased in golden effulgence. So what does this mean? There are Bhuhu Umbhavaha, we saw that. We're all familiar with all the physical world. Even though we know the world appears like this, we look at the various physical forms and sounds and all that. But the world actually exists in our mind, isn't it? Manomulam idam jagat. Don't ever forget that. And whatever I imagine in my mind is what is I see, what I perceive. So it's a mind that is actually imagining this whole creation, the whole universe and all that. Now, what is the effulgence that takes place? It doesn't take place in darkness, does it? That is taking place in the Garbham of Hiranya. Garbham means a womb. Now, the way that you get an inkling into this, when you do jhanam and go inwards, then you will see the effulgence that is shining within. You get a glimpse of that, and that is golden hue. That is, the effulgence is phenomenal. It is not pure white, but it is golden. Hiranya Mayaha is what the Taittiriya Upanishad says. And that Hiranya Garbham, in that effulgence, the womb of that is where all this manifestations, this creation, everything takes place. All the things that we imagine, all the things we perceive physically, and all of them are in the womb of this golden effulgence. So it's a mental effulgence, that the effulgence that shines, that shines the mind. Let's put it that way. It is not the effulgence in the mind, but the mind is in that effulgence, if I can put it that way. So that is Hiranya Garbhaha. So ईशान प्राणो ज्येष्ठ श्रेष्ठ प्रजापति हिरण्यगर्भो भूगर्भो Hiranyagarbha, Bhugarbha. This is very easy. This Bhumi is also, it is universe, not only limited to the earth. This whole, if you look at everything that is manifested as is in the womb of something, we all came out of the wombs of our mother, right? The same way, the whole universe is in the womb of this divinity, this Bhagavan. So he is called Bhugarbha. Another meaning is when the fetus is kept in the womb and it is growing, how well it is protected. It is protected so beautifully, so lovingly. The nature takes care of it, right? And it is nourished in the same way. Bhagavan takes care of and protects and nourishes the universe that is created. So Bhugarbha, Hiranyagarbho, Bhugarbho, Madhavo, Madhusudhanaha, Madhavaha is the Pati of Lakshmi. That is one meaning. Now, another aspect that Shankara Bhagavad Padal says is that Maunam, Dhyanam, Yogam, all these three are established in him. Maunam, the silence of the mind, silence of the thoughts. There is no thought. That silence is the place of Bhagavan. Dhyanam, then you meditate and then you concentrate and then meditate on him, and that upasana also leads to Bhagavan. Yogam, becoming one with him, giving up the feeling of separation. All these belong to him. And this is being explained by Vyasa himself. This is what Sankara Bhagavad Bhattar says. It's called Madhu Vidhai. Madhu Vidhai. And this is, Madhu Vidhai is Maunam, Dhyanam, and Yogam. What does Madhu here means? Let us look at the meaning. Madhu means intoxicating, right? And we call it in our physical world, the liquor that people take as Madhu. Madhu means the intoxicating aspect in things. Now, what is it that is intoxicating? What is the essence in the intoxication? So that is nothing but one aspect of this attractive element, which is Rama. We have seen this. Ramyate iti Rama. Everything in the world attracts only. Now, the problem is, when the attraction becomes too much, excessive, and that overpowers your own mind. See, and remember, this intoxication takes over your mind, and that aspect of this attraction, that is intoxication. In this world, there are many intoxicants. I just gave you an example. We all can easily relate to the liquor, alcohol. Yes, we know physically what it does to the mind, right? The mind loses its function. It overtakes it. Now, what about wealth, attachment to wealth, right? Some people are able to manage wealth, but most people are managed by wealth. They become slaves to it. Why? Because the attraction of the wealth becomes excessive, takes over their own mind, their own human values, their own ability to discriminate between right and wrong, right? That is an intoxicant. And what about power? You get into power, then all of a sudden you get a self-inflated opinion about yourself, and self-importance shoots up. So you get intoxicated by your attachment to that power. What about praise? When somebody praises you, what happens? Right? Remember, what happens to your mind? It becomes slave to that. aspect that is actually attracting becomes excessive and overpowers your own mind, that aspect, that manifestation is intoxication. Now, what is the most powerful intoxicant that we all come up with every moment in our life? That is our ego. This ego is the most powerful, the one that says, who are you to tell me? It's I and me and mine, right? And think about it for a second. What havoc that ahamkaram plays, because it is misused, it is abused. That's why it plays the havoc. If it is used properly, then there is really no problem. It is like a huge snake, right? And if it's handled properly, that becomes your slave. And if ahamkaram is placed at the feet of the lotus feet, and only the aham is left behind, I is only left behind, there is no problem. The thing is, ahamkaram comes in. I am the doer. I know everything. I am doing this. All these, I do this, therefore I deserve this. All the things that takes place. Just think about it for a second. That ego, that ahamkaram, is the most powerful madhu that we all have. Madhu Sudanaha. Sudanaha, one who has overpowered it, one who has mastered it, one who has controlled it. Madhusudanaha, that is Bhagavan, Krishna himself. So Madhusudanaha. Then they explain also Madhu is a Rakshasa, one who has killed it. Who is this Madhu? Who is this Rakshasa? There is the story-wise, there is this Rakshasa came out of the ears of Bhagavan, and then he was killed. But it is actually personalized. It is nothing more than this ego, this ahamkaram, which is nothing but a Rakshasa, because it is demonic. In the sense, it takes you away from Bhagavan's lotus feet. Anything that takes you away from Bhagavan's lotus feet is demonic, is Rakshasic, is Asuric in nature. That is also Asuric Sampat. It's a wealth, so that also shines. But anything and everything that takes us towards the lotus feet, that is Daivik Sampat. So this Madhu is a Rakshasa, is an ego that takes ahamkaram, takes us away from Bhagavan. One who has overpowered it, one who has killed it, eliminated that is Madhusudanaha. So, if I want to touch the lotus feet, I must really take the guidance, the help, under the shade and protection of Madhusudanaha. He is the only one who knows how to do it. And what does he say? Very simple medicine that he gives us to cure this Madhu, this ego problem. Very simple. He says, you're all thinking ahamkaram. He says, I am doing this, I am doing this. There's nothing wrong in that. Only thing is, you have misplaced the I. You think this I is the body and the mind. You think I am so and so, right? Each one of us, just think for a second, what do you think about yourself? You think you are this body, you are this mind that you have. It's my mind, it's my husband, my wife. All these things are related to the body. He says, instead, do a paradigm shift. Put that feeling of I, place that in the indweller. Think, I am the indweller. This is my body. Instead of saying, I am the body, I am the mind, say, this is my body, this is my mind, and place the I with the indweller. That's a paradigm shift that we must place, we must practice. Simple mantra that is given in the Vedams and taught by all the elders and Bhagavan himself in Bhagavad Gita. It comes throughout Bhagavatam. Everywhere you go is a mantra called Soham. Saha Aham Soham. Soham Mantram. It's called Hamsa Mantra. There is also Hamsa Gayatri. What does it say? I am the indweller. I am God. I am divine. I am divine. That's the only mantra. But we resist saying that, right? That Madhusudanaha, and that is the medicine, that's a mantra given to be in the company of Madhusudana. Then Hiranyagarbho Bhogarbho Madhavo Madhusudanaha Madhusudanaha. Number 9. Ishvaro Vikrami Danvi Medhavi Vikramakramaha Anuttamo Duradarsha Krutagnya Krutiratmavan. Ishvaraha Vikrami Dhanvi Medhavi Vikramaha Kramaha Anuttamaha Duradarsha Krutagnya Krutihi Atmavan. Ishvaraha, we saw Ishanaha, controller. Now Ishvaraha, one who has all the skills and abilities, everything, Aishwaryam, not only limited to the 6 Aishwaryams that people talk about, infinite, anything and everything that you can imagine, not only in the manifested world, but also in the unmanifested world. It's even our ability to beyond our ability to imagine. And that Bhagavan, that aspect, who's got all the Shaktis, all the wealth, and that is Ishvara. Because Bhagavan is that, we get a part and parcel of it in our life. Right? Our ability to speak, to hear, to see, or the wealth that comes our way that also goes away, the power that comes our way and goes away. All these effulgences, the little or minutest aspect of it that we get in our life. And most important, we also get to taste the essence of this Aishwaryam, which is prema. In our life, every one of us, at least once in our life, would have tasted this prema, and an inkling of that we would have gotten. And how beautifully it feels, right? And it stays with you forever. And that Bhagavan, who's got that Aishwarya, as Swami says, he doesn't have any weapons, he doesn't have chakra, gada, none of those things. And he really doesn't need any weapons also. But the only property, the only Shakti that he has, is the prema. That's prema. Love is the most powerful, and that is the most exalted Aishwaryam of Bhagavan. So one who's got that is Ishvaraha. Vikrami Dhanvi. Vikram. Vikrami means it shows one who's courageous, bravery, prowess, so many things. And whatever the Sankalpam is, Bhagavan wills, it happens. Bhagavan wills, the whole universe is created. He wills, the sky is turned to earth and the earth is turned to sky. He wills, anything and everything can happen. Okay, he can turn everything upside down. So he wills, he covers, he manifests himself with 1 foot all over the world. Right? And he just wills, and all the Karadushanas and their millions of warriors got killed. So for the entity that creates and dissolves things like a play at will, anything and everything is possible. That is Vikrami. Do not confuse us with our prowess and our bravery and our courage and all that. No. Even as we saw, we progress in Dhyanam, in the yoga process, we get some Siddhic powers. See, they're all nothing compared to the prowess and the bravery of Bhagavan, which is selfless love. That is Vikrami. And in fact, Parasara Bhattar says that in Vishnu Puranam, just finished telling you, one with his own sankalpam, he wills it happens, and the whole process of creation is nothing but Bhagavan's will. The whole process of dissolution, nothing but his will. And it is his will that materializes, that shows. And he can manifest, he can also withdraw the manifestation. And this is what the aspect of Isanaha means. That's how he controls everything. So don't for a second, which we are all falling into this abyss of delusion that everything I can do, I can control this and get stressed in the process. No. Leave it to him where it belongs. He's the one who's controlling. He's the one who's giving all the abilities that I have, all the skills I have, the courage I have, hope I have. Everything is his makrami. And he wills, it happens. And his will changes, it does not happen. And seriously, when you say with Bhagavan's grace we will do it, with Bhagavan's will is that it will happen, that is the truthful statement. In our limited fashion, we must always embrace that statement and embrace that approach to life. Vikrami, Dhanvi, one who is carrying the bow in his hand. We call it, the names are given by us, Sangam, Kodandam, so many words that we give for different manifestations. But as Bhagavad Gita says, in those, as Bhagavan says, when Arjuna asks him, where are you? You say you're everywhere, where can I find you? So he gives a beautiful explanation. Vibhuti Yoga you have to see. And he says, the archers, I am Rama, he says. But in Sriman Narayana, we have also given the Sargam to him. We call it that bow that he carries. And so that is Dhanvi, means one who is carrying the bow in his hand. Now, what is his bow and what is his arrow? The whole beautifully the Rishi experiences and explains that in Rudram. Rudram, the very first Anuvagam, is so beautiful. Then you get an understanding of what this Dhanvi is. And Bhagavan was carrying the bow and sending out arrows. What does it mean? Right? So that Dhanvi. Medhavi, Vikrami, Dhanvi, Medhavi, Vikramakramaha, Medhavi. Oh, beautiful. We say in our world, somebody who's very highly read and who's knowledgeable and who is a scholar, and we call it, Medhavi, the colloquial term we use. But Bhagavan is the Medhavi. What does it mean? It does not mean that he knows everything. It's amazing when, let me skip that anecdote that came to my mind because it is too personal. Now, the beauty is we put our efforts in and we start study, work hard. We learn Vedam, we learn neuroscience, whatever that we do, we have to put time and then learn it. And then we call ourselves, we have reached a certain level of PhD or whatever. And then beyond that also we have to go, right? Even people like Einstein and all went up to a point and then they were flabbergasted. They're standing at the perimeter, at the edge of knowledge. They said, my God, what's out there? So the effort that we put in to know, and the knowledge we accumulate, the theoretical, intellectual knowledge we accumulate, but the knowledge itself reveals itself to you. As we put in more effort, the knowledge reveals itself to you, right? It is all within. But what is this knowledge? That is Medhavi, the essence, the entity, the knowledge itself that knows everything. There is not a single dot that beyond its ken. Not only that, the beauty of Avatara Purusham and the beauty of Bhagavan, the essence of this, the Vishnu Sahasranamam that we have the fortune to share, is that it not only Bhagavan knows everything, he also can know anything and everything he wants. This is beauty. This is that ability, that itself is a knowledge. That is Medhavi. The whole Vedam, which is a repository of all the knowledge that we are discovering through different branches now, It is all in Vedas. And that whole thing came out of Bhagavan's breath. Just one breath. Please remember that. So Medhavi. Vikramaha. Vikrami, beautifully we saw. Vikramaha. The other name comes. What is Vikramaha? One who has Garuda as his vehicle, the transport vehicle. That is one. Another one is Vikramaha, one who has measured the whole world. Sri Vikramaha, we say, right? The Bhumi, the whole universe was measured with 1 foot. Then the Devalokam was measured with another foot, right? And here, it means one who has measured the whole world. What this means is that measuring means it is not we take with a ruler and then measure. It is Bhagavan who is manifested, 1 foot manifested in the whole, which is present, very much present in the universe, which we consider to be the various spheres moving around, Earth and Mars and all that. They're all nothing but Bhagavan's lotus feet. Every speck of dust that we walk on is Bhagavan's lotus feet, only one aspect of that he manifested that Bhagavan, that Padam. Just imagine how beautiful it would have been for Mahabali when he saw that Bhagavan's lotus feet, the Tamara Padam as we call it, that all of a sudden you can see it with your naked eyes. And that is the Vikramaha. So two meanings. One is the Trivikrama aspect, the other is he's got Garuda as a transportation vehicle. Trivikramaha, Vikrama, Kramaha. Kramaha is a very important word. He says Kramam, right? And in our colloquial terms, we use it, right? The one who has established, there is an inviolable law that is taking place. That none of us can violate that. We are all bound by that law. It doesn't matter who we are and where we are, right? We all know that internally, personally, each one of us knows. The truth is, it is not in my control. We refuse to accept it. We fight it. So we get stressed out and so many other problems comes in. But there is an innate knowledge. If you just pay attention to it, you would know it is not in my control. Whatever is happening and whatever is not happening is not in my control. That's the truth. Then whose control is it in? Who is its control of this divinity? How is he controlling it? He is controlling it through a law, a fundamental rule that he has established. He himself said, I've created all this, but for man, I've given him this extra ability called buddhi, vivekam, discriminating ability. Because he has got that extra ability, okay, I've also given him the freedom of choice to do or not to do. That choice he has got. But because he has that choice, and he has got to follow a rule. That rule is every action has got a reaction. That's all. So using the buddhi, if he does the right thing, makes a choice and does the right thing, then his life will be very smooth. No problem. He can come back home. But if he does not use the buddhi I've given him and keeps doing things that should not be done, then he has to pay the price because that will have a reaction. Then he gets bound. That's all the fundamental rule. Kramaha, he is the one who is manifesting as this rule, as the thing that binds us, that inviolable law. And he's also the cause of this whole universe, this whole thing that is manifesting in front of us. And that is also Kramaha, the law that is established, as well as this whole universe that is manifesting itself. And There is a certain sense of expansiveness, if you can picture it, in this whole manifested world. We call it in science, they call it entropy, right? The entropy always increases. But what does it mean? It's not just a quantity or disorder, as they call it. No, it's not disorder that's increasing. There is the expansive aspect of prema cannot be contained. Prema expands, period. Why does water go and pour it into a cup? Why does it take the form of the cup? Why does it do that? We know it does it, but why does it do it? That all indicates the fundamental pulling force, the pull that's taking place in the whole universe is one of expansion. So we call it as abhivriddhi in Sanskrit, right? Abhivriddhi. Everything is becoming growing. And when it goes beyond a certain point, the law again takes over and controls it back. And same thing happens to progeny, same thing happens to population of humans, and everything increases and then control and then brought back and then it increases again. The expansive pull cannot be violated. And that abhivriddhi aspect is also kramaha. The kramaha, anuttamaha, ana uttamaha. Anuttamaha means one who has nobody that is superior to him. One, to put it in our crude language, he has no boss. He has nobody above him. Okay? Anuttamaha. There is none that can excel him, that is beyond him. Right? And again, this is beautifully described in Ramayana, how Hanuman describes the glories of Rama and to Ravana and wants him. How Mandodari herself talks to Ravana and tells him there is none in the 14 worlds who can equal Rama, is what she says. And the same thing Bhagavan assures Devaki just before the moment before he takes birth, when he appears, when the Sri Narayana comes there and he tells Devaki, do not worry, there is no one born or to be born in the 14 worlds who can do me any harm. And then he enters Devaki's womb and it's a pravesam. One lady, I think in our class asked a while ago, so I forgot to mention, Krishna's birth is not pravasam. Please don't ever think it is pravasam. It is pravesam. What happened, people talk about Devaki's Stuti and all that, but what happened in that prison at that time, the 3 o'clock in the morning, when Bhagavan gives a darshan or to Srimad Narayana to Devaki, explains to her, I'm going to take birth in you because of your penance, of your prayers, and do not worry, as a mother, so many things will happen. Not a single one is there in the 14 worlds who can do me any harm. Then that effulgence turned into an orb of light and entered into Devaki's womb. The next moment, the baby was born. So it is pravesam, not pravasam. That anuttamaha, duradarshaha, duradarshaha, right? So that means one who cannot be won over by demons and by rakshasas. This is so true. Even in our own life, we can see how Bhagavan is manifesting this aspect of himself. The good tendency, when we hang on to it, always will overcome evil tendencies. Initially, evil tendencies, the rakshasic element, the demonic element may seem to be too powerful. But if I apply, my beneficial tendency to it, basically if I apply prema to it, if I'm loving to it, that will always overcome demonic tendencies. Simple thing. When somebody is angry, go and give that person a loving hug. What happens to the anger? Anger subsides. It's very simple. When somebody talks rude words, hurtful words, if you speak back sweetly, this is where our discipline comes in, our training has to be. Speak back in sweet words. What happens to harshness? It cannot go on. It has to be subdued. And this is the beauty. This aspect of Bhagavan is Duradarshaha. It cannot be overcome by the demonic forces and demonic tendencies. Okay? And this is the essence of all the stories that we read in the Puranas and Itihasam and all that. And where Avatar Purushan comes, and it always wins over Rakshasic tendencies. We have to personalize it. Okay? Now, Duradarshaha, it also means, how is it possible, sir, cannot be overcome? What does it mean? Just picture a deep ocean. Very deep, very calm it is. And what can disturb it? Really nothing, right? I mean, on the surface, you may see some waves and the wind blows and some water moves and all that. But at the depth of the ocean, nothing can disturb it. That solidity, that firmness is what Bhagavan is. Duradarshaha. Anuttamo Duradarshaha Kritagnaha. Most important, Bhagavan himself wants this, a lesson that I've learned from him, and I've shared this with you many times. Many times. So simply put, in our life, when we cannot, each one of us, none of us can lead our life without help and participation by others. There are so many things that contributing to our sustenance and to our life. Right from all the other Panchabhutangal to the various things out in the world. That's why universe is a university, right? Everything is contributing to us. Same way, other human beings also contribute to us, to our life, to our sustenance. The simplest thing that they do, right, could be a kind word, could be a monetary assistance, a physical assistance, whatever it is, right? We should never forget that help. Never. This is a mistake that some people make, and this is not acceptable to Bhagavan. He himself has said it. We call it gratitude. The gratitude must be eternal, right? And simple thing that somebody may have done that we appreciated at that time, we say thank you, and we forget it and move on. That doesn't work. That sense of gratitude must be eternal all the time. That aspect of Bhagavan that manifests itself as that eternal gratitude. Kritagnaha. Nya means one knows, the knowledge aspect. Krita, the action. One who knows what has happened there. That Kritagnaha, that gratitude, that aspect is Bhagavan. And he himself says in Mahabharatam, in Mirsi, when that day when Draupadi yearned for me and beseeched me and called out for me, keeping me in her heart. First she thought I was in Dwaraka, so she called me Dwaraka Nata. Then the moment she called me as Hridaya Nivasi, then Bhagavan manifested. That call from a devotee is, Bhagavan says, I can never forget it. I'm always grateful to it. It's very simple. When a child comes and hugs a mother, the small baby crawls and hugs a mother. How beautiful the mother feels. That expression of love is what Bhagavan is yearning for from each one of us. The moment I turn to him and call him out, Swami, there is no one other than you, he is ever grateful for that call. He will never forget it. That gratitude, that aspect of Bhagavan is Kritagnaha. So let us, just hearing this word, let us resolve in our mind to be grateful in our life. This is so important. Please, I cannot overemphasize this. Kritagnaha, Kritagnaha, Kritihi Atmavan. Kritihi. Have you ever wondered, you do so many actions. Now I'm speaking, you're all listening, and then you do so many activities in your life. Simple thing like getting into a car and driving, going and getting a gallon of milk, to studying for PhD, to whatever that you're all doing, right? So many actions that we are doing in our life. We know those actions, so I'm not talking about the actions itself. But what is the essence that makes you take the effort? What is the essence that reflects as the effort? That effort, that thing is krutihi. That shows up as effort, right? I think these are all, every element in our life is Bhagavan only. Different aspects are manifesting. That is what Sahasranamam talks about. The essence of the effort. The one that is present as the effort itself, that to do an action, right? That effort, that is krutihi. And he is also showing himself as the action. First the effort, and then the action also is him. That is krutihi. And because he also dissolves and removes things, not only appear but disappear, he removes some of anything that is demonic, he can remove it. If I just turn to him, all the bad qualities go away. They get vaporized, they get eliminated, they get samharam, they get killed. And because of that, he is also doing himsai to those demonic things. That is krutihi. And next question comes. He manifests as the effort. He manifests as the action also. Then he manifests as a result. That is another issue. But what is the thing that is supporting the effort and supporting the action, right? That is unmanifested essence that is supporting all this. That is also krutihi. So kritagnaha, krutihi, atmavan. Atmavan. We say Atma, Atma so many times. Atmavan means the one who really does not have any support for him. What is the support for a support? Nothing, right? The prema itself is its own support. That is Atmavan. The Atma itself is its own support. Atmavan. Then also means in our terminology we call it as Jivatmas, right, and Paramatma, as if those two are different. But so that we can understand in our limited way using our intelligence, we use those terms. If we do that, there are so many embodiments. There is the internal, the indweller is one and one only, but it appears at so many forms. And he is the one that's supporting the aspect of this one entity of prema has got different manifestations of love within each embodiment. That is also Atmavan. So, Isvaro Vikrami Dhanvi Medhavi Vikramakramaha Anuttamo Duradarshak Kritagnya Krutiratmavan. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavanto. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavanto. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavanto. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.